I listen to a lot of like pop culture shows, and they're talking about how amazing this is, and I was like, I should rewatch Avatar and all this stuff, but mainly I haven't. Mainly, what they're talking about is James Cameron's success in the past, and one of the fun facts that I learned was that when he did Titanic, he built a replica of half of the boat, right? So it was just one side of the boat. And then he also built like a ton of miniatures. And the price of that cost more than if they were to take the Titanic off of the bottom of the ocean and repair it.
What?
To its original glory.
How is that possible?
That was the stat that I got. That's how much it costs to make all these things. So,
yeah, I would be interested in
how they
taking a look at their
math.
methodology.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at the very least, one of the reasons it was one of the most expensive movies in the history of the world is because he
built a fucking Titanic.
He built the Titanic and then sank it multiple times, I guess. Maybe it wasn't to return it to its glory, but I think it did cost more than pulling it off of the bottom of the ocean. I think that was.
I mean, I'm not even sure that that's technically feasible. I'm not sure how you price it out.
Yeah. Well, anyway, all I know is my heart will go on. It was the number one movie in the history of the world for a long time, until Avatar.
Yeah, so just prepare to...
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect.
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
I got my sweet jerk off. Put some shoes on.
That train is off the track.
Who doesn't love the bouncy castle?
Hitler.
Just prepare to... just prepare to be awash in undebeatable goodness.
Welcome, Pacers fans. You were listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-weekly Pacers podcast. Today is January 7th, 2023, and this is episode 624. Coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm your host, Joey Gaffrida, the man behind the dials and former season ticket holder. This show, we're going to discuss a 2-1 week of basketball with games against Toronto, Philly, and the Portland Trailblazers. Joining me this show are all three of our analysts, coast to coast, like buttered toast. First, from the high school home of Jameson Brewer, Silver Spring, Maryland, it's the doctor, Jason Triplett.
What is up, Pacers fans? What's up, Undebeatables? Shout-outs to the city of Buffalo, because you guys need a shout-out. It's been a rough few months there, but great news this week. What's the guy's name? Darius Hamlin? Mm-hmm. Seems to be recovering well, and so kudos to the medical staff that were right there to get his heart going again. Scary stuff, but hopefully he'll see this through.
Did you hear the first thing he said when he came out of? Did we win?
Yeah, did we win the game?
Amazing.
From Asheville, North Carolina, he's our in-house bartender mixing up the drinks and the crappy jingles, John Colson.
What is up, Pacer Nation? What is up, Undebeatables? All four of us. Glad y'all are here. We had to do it a day early, but kind of worth it, I think.
Totally.
We'll find out.
Yeah, let's wait till the end of the episode.
Yes,
the listener be the judge of that.
Temper our expectations.
Yeah. And from Boise, Idaho, out west, it's our enforcer, John Harper.
What is going on, fellas? Shout out 2023. Welcome to the future.
Yes.
Yeah. Happy future, everybody.
Yeah. And shout out to our also to our our best promoter out there, Mary Elizabeth, in Asheville, North Carolina.
Shout out, Beth. Thank you for listening.
Who wouldn't love to be shouted out by the Undebeatables?
That's right.
Before we get to the rest of I have a long list. Before we get into the rest of the show, I'd like to remind listeners they can support us, the longest-running Pacers podcast, by heading over to patreon.com/undebeatables. And you can support our show for as little as $1 per month. All right, team, it's been another disappointing winning week of basketball. Pacers go 2-1. First game was Monday, January 2nd, against the Toronto Raptors. They're at home, and this game was a little bit back and forth. The Pacers fought it out and closed it out this time. Good. We had 4, 5, 6, 7 guys in double figures, led by Buddy Hield with 19 and Miles Turner 18 and 10 that night. And on the Raptors side, a couple pretty solid performances. Pascal Siakam, 26 points. Gary Trent Jr. with 32. Scotty Barnes, 23. But the big problem was they had no bench. We beat the ever-living crap out of them. So Pacers take the win, 122-114. The loss for the week, Wednesday, January 4th. Pacers away this time, and they lose this one 126-129 to the Philadelphia 76ers. The standout performers, Buddy Hield again, 24 points, 9 rebounds for him this time. And Tyrese Halliburton, 16 points, 12 assists, gets his double-double. And Jalen Smith and Benedict Mathurin both almost 20 points off the bench. James Harden dropping 26 on our heads. And Tobias Harris, 19 points. Montrezl Harrell, 19 points. Joel Embiid did not play. So they still took the win. And last game of the week, last night, as of recording, Friday, January 6th, Pacers back at home against the Portland Trailblazers, and they win this one 108-99. This one was really tight back and forth all game, and Pacers, in my mind, unexpectedly just completely owned the last couple minutes of the game and just ran away with it. It was a very fun way to end the game. It's nice to dominate like that the last couple minutes and get the dribble out the clock with no worries there. Miles Turner, 17 points, 7 rebounds for him, and Tyrese Halliburton, 15 and 12 assists with a double-double for him. Buddy Hield, 11 points. I think Halliburton and Hield were, combined for like maybe 2 points in the first half. It was not looking good, but they came out and picked it up in the second half. And Benedict Mathurin, 19 points off the bench as well. Jason, we were talking before the show, and you've been pretty impressed with Mathurin. What do you have to think? What do you have to say about his performances this week as a whole?
I mean, it's such a delight as a rookie, and getting better every game still. Like Quinn Buckner during the Blazers game just couldn't stop gushing about how impressive it was that he was like seeing new angles and like being creative and being more active on the defensive end. And he does all this. The thing that is impressing me now, I've told you, like, Ben Mathurin can basically do no wrong in my eyes right now. He's like my favorite son. And
you do have a son, right?
I do have a son, yeah, but he is well aware of that there's
tough
competition right now, right? I forget what I was saying. I lost my thought. So enamored by Ben Mathurin. No, I mean I think that the fact that he's continuing to grow is super impressive. Oh no, yeah, that was what I was going to say. The thing that impresses me most lately is that he doesn't even sweat. Like, he's out there playing the highest level of basketball in the world for the first time against grown-ass men, and it's like he barely breaks a lat. He doesn't even breathe hard half the time. Like, and he's always under control. It's very good. But I was going to say, Joey, you said you were surprised at the way the Portland game closed out. I wouldn't be so surprised. This seems to be a trend with this Pacers team of late. That's the way they closed out the Toronto game. They kind of took over down the stretch. They came back down the stretch to take the lead against Philly. Really should have won that game in regulation.
Should have won that game. Yeah.
Despite some very sloppy turnovers in the last minute.
Yeah.
And then also had a chance to tie it up or either tie it up or take the lead when my boy Ben Mathurin got assaulted by James Harden. And the NBA admitted to it afterwards.
So the last 2 minute thing you can get on the NBA.com. So they do the last 2 minutes. There were multiple incorrect calls. 2, I think, where Harden was mauling Mathurin and didn't get called. And then one where Harden mauls Halliburton with like 10 seconds left. Doesn't get called. And then actually they called the incorrect call on the very last shot in overtime where Buddy Hield was taking a three-pointer. Now, you never call that. You don't. I understand that that's a fair call to not call that. Buddy Hield sort of just fell over and flailed up a three. But the NBA went back and looked at it and was like, yeah, that should have been a foul call. So, I think it was 4 missed calls on fouls against the Pacers in the last 2 minutes and overtime. Still, it was our fault, though. You can't turn the ball over like that, and whatever.
And in fairness to the refs, I mean, it's really hard to blow the whistle every time James Harden plays terrible defense. Like, we just wouldn't be watching basketball anymore.
It has to recover by grabbing.
It basically no. I think 3 of the fouls were Harden, and then one of them was I can't remember.
It's just
Maxwell
egregious how bad he is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who he's guarding. That person is just ISO for that guy.
Yeah.
That was basically the Pacers' offense down the stretch to get back in it. So it's just fun. Or if the play is for Halliburton, let's screen until he's getting guarded by James Harden,
and then run right by him.
Yeah.
Well, I must say that I was a little upset by the way that the play calling went down the stretch. I did feel like we just wanted to hunt Harden, and it was Halliburton and Mathurin, and it was one of those 2 guys standing at the top of the key, waiting, trying to get their dribble, trying to break him down, and he's a superstar in this league, and he's going to get away with stuff. And I felt like our offense got us back into that game. We were moving the ball. We were breaking them down. They didn't have Embiid. Let's go down low. Let's do some stuff. And we just basically, down the stretch of the actual regulation and in overtime, it was a lot of, let's see if Mathurin can get the line. Let's see if Halliburton can get the line. And I'm not seeing this team just completely abandon their offense like that in other games. We talked about coming back in the Toronto game. We talked about coming back, actually all last week I think we had comeback wins. And it was us pressing the ball, pressing the pace, running our offense. And I really felt like in that Sixers game we kind of gave up on that and tried to pick apart Harden, and he got away with stuff because he's a star, and you've got to be smarter than that.
It's kind of hard to fault coach for going to the highest percentage play on the floor. You know what I mean? Yeah. We did enough to win. Yeah. We just handed the ball to the wrong team with 15 seconds left.
We did do that, yeah.
I think that I sort of agreed with you that it was a very heavy in that sense, but the thing that changed was the success that we had to get back in that game was beating whoever it was at the top of the key and getting into the lane and then dishing off, right? Mm-hmm. Finding open shooters. And that's what changed. It went from getting into the lane to to create a play to getting into the lane to try to score.
Yeah,
especially Matherin. He definitely has that kind of tunnel vision right now. I mean, but you can't blame him at some level. So.
He's very gifted at what he does. So.
Yeah, and this team has, you guys are absolutely right, there's been a grip of, big comebacks, great closeouts. This team really has shown a lot of maturity late in games that you just don't see that often from young teams. And, Portland was definitely the recipient of that. And I know that they're wishing they had picked a different Canadian in the draft after seeing Mather go to work on them.
Right.
Had a little extra for Shaden Sharp, who got picked just behind him. Or in front of him?
No, it was just behind him.
It was behind him, yeah. He was
he was 7th. Because I wanted
Matherin was still
Sharp.
upset that he was even in his range.
Yeah.
Just angry at all fronts. Yeah.
Everything's bulletin board material for that guy. He's great.
Yeah.
For sure. He's just angry at everyone. He's good. I've just been impressed. Yes, the Sixers game was a missed opportunity. We were on the road and they were without Embiid, and we were up 4 with 15 seconds left, and you got to win that game. But they still impressed. We still crawled our way back. We were down 10 with like 5 minutes left. We still crawled our way back in it. We're beating teams on the road. I was looking at the stat. I think we're 500 against teams 500 or better. We're 8-11 on the road, which is near 500, which is what quality teams do. This team just blows my mind. It just, how did we get here? This is freaking amazing. We're currently in the 7th seed in a statistical tie with the Knicks for the 6th seed, which would be out of the play-in tournament, solidly in the playoffs. There's a lot of basketball left to play, but I don't see this team getting worse. I see them getting better.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess we'll talk more about this on Thursday. I mean, the only thing that could switch the momentum is a roster change, right?
Sure.
Which is still potentially in the cards. Be it, them being buyers at the deadline and trying to fill a hole, which personally I wouldn't do at some level. I mean, we could use more size, I suppose. We could use a big...
You don't want Bojan Bogdanovic? Come on, bring back Bogey. Bring back Bogey.
I mean, yes and no, but I am really enjoying watching this team just figure it out, kind of. And, getting a guy like Bogey takes away minutes from a Nembhard or a Nesmith.
Yeah.
That I'm really enjoying watching. Like Aaron Nesmith in that Portland game, he might have been the most impressive player to me because he struggled so badly from the floor and was working his tail off defensively the entire game. And then, his persistence was rewarded down a stretch, and he made
big
huge
three.
plays and, almost got an amazing, put back dunk and all this stuff. And so it's just been good to see guys like that. He's not necessarily blossoming, but he is turning into a professional basketball player. So
Smith was out in that Portland game, and so Jackson got the minutes, and he's sort of he's the guy I've been following, and he's out of the rotation now, and he had a brilliant game. I think it was really fun to watch in that Portland game. So yeah.
Although it's hilarious. As soon as he checks into the game, whoever is the ball handler, be it Halliburton, Matherin, Nembhard, McConnell, they just immediately try to throw lobs.
Yeah, they do. That's what he wants to do.
And it's great when Isaiah Jackson is in the game, but then they stay in that mentality, and then Goga's in the game, and he can't jump. And they're like, oh, whoops.
Oh, right, he can't jump.
But yeah, no, and Isaiah Jackson basically playing a back-to-back-to-back, because he had got sent down to the G League and played 2 straight games there, where he played pretty well by all reports, and had to get called back up and pressed into real-life NBA minutes against Portland. Had perform super well. So that's got to be a good boost to his confidence there.
Yeah, Toronto not looking so good this year.
Yeah.
They are having some issues, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get Van Vliet done. And I don't know what that team is without him.
Yeah, no, yeah, because they're a bunch of just big wings. Somebody's got to, run the offense and give them the ball. I was very impressed by that game because their length gave us problems at the beginning of the game, and I thought at the beginning of each quarter, and it was very impressive to watch this team sort of, mainly Halliburton, figure it out. Because they were just in the way and they were making our lives hard, and we just figured out how to run our offense after 3 or 4 minutes of sloppiness and getting beat up by the defense. Sort of figured out how to pick them apart. I'm not sure why the Raptors aren't better with their length, honestly.
I mean, it's because they have no bench. And
Van Vliet's always hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or at least Nick Nurse doesn't trust their bench, right? Like his starting five played, all of them played basically 40 minutes in this game, and so
that's true all season, though, Jason.
You're right, exactly. And so I think they just get tired.
Yeah, which is why Van Vliet's always injured, because he had to play 40 minutes a game to stay in the game. Then you wear him down.
Yeah.
Then he plays bad. Vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Nick Nurse, Coach of the Year, didn't he win that?
He did. Yeah. But so did Tom Thibodeau. This is like the Tom Thibodeau style.
Just run your guys into the ground.
You have 5 or 6 guys that you trust, and that's the only people that you put out there.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about Duarte's return? I think he's been not terribly effective. Is anybody concerned about him yet?
No. I mean, I think it takes a while to come back from injury. His shot doesn't look great, but I still feel like he's moving without the ball. He's still, active defensively. I think he fits on this team. I think we're going to talk on the Thursday show about lineups, and there's some real statistical analysis that shows that he's very useful on that bench, and we'll talk about that. But I think it's just going to take him a little bit of time.
Yeah, I agree. He seems to me like he's still getting his legs under him.
Yeah.
And he has re-rolled that ankle basically in every game. Like, there's always one play where he, lands funny. And, I think he left the Toronto game. And
yeah.
But then was back.
Nobody came back. They didn't. They sent him back to the locker room, but he came right back.
Put another pound of tape on that thing.
Yeah, he was available, but I don't think we played him. But yeah, he was sitting on the bench. I mean, honestly, also you've got to think about this team is evolving very quickly, and some of it's happened while he was injured. There's a lot of new stuff has happened since the first 10 games when he was available. We're playing a different style. We're playing smaller. We're playing faster. Not only does he have to come back healthy, but he has to adjust to what we're doing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm maybe a little bit more pessimistic than you guys. I think how well this team has played without him should be concerning if you're Chris Duarte and want your minutes and a place on this team. I mean, even those first 10 games of the season, this is our wily 80-year-old veteran guy, right? And
right,
he had one good game early on. And he was good in one of those comeback games before going out again, but it really has not been a very impressive season for him. So he's got a ways to go to really carve out a real long-term spot with this team. Or other guys are going to pass him by. Neesmith has been incredible.
Mm-hmm. Well, you make a good point. Like, on some level, this season is, we've been better than expected, but also this season was also about figuring out all of these prospects and who's going to last on this team moving forward. And this is not a good time to not be impactful.
I mean, yeah, but it's a long season. So, he will
Which
have
we're halfway through, by the way.
Right, exactly.
We're halfway through it, though.
Right, exactly. But I think he will have opportunities. I mean, people are going to go out here and there with little minor injuries or, hopefully just minor injuries the rest of the way. And so he'll have opportunities. And I think, for all of these young guys, like, getting consistent minutes is the key to success. Like, being able to get out there night after night helps you get in a rhythm and gain confidence that you're not going to get pulled out of the game if you make a mistake, which I don't think anybody feels like that on this team because, Carlisle's been pretty good about just letting them play.
Yeah, no fear of losing.
Unless there's there's something like super egregious.
Well, that
just need to
brings
talk
me
to a guy.
Yeah.
Well, that brings me to a point. I think that Carlisle has evolved since he was our previous coach, when he was a coach back in the early 2000s or whatever, because he didn't play rookies. He didn't let guys make mistakes. You threw the ball out of bounds and you were on the bench.
Right.
And I don't know if he's just decided that this team's young and he's going to go with the flow, or whether he's evolved over his years with Dallas. But it's been nice to watch his patience with this team. And then the other thing I would say about guys who need to come in real briefly and don't need the reps is O'Shea Brissett. I think he deserves a shout out. He's been fantastic. He has no idea when he's going to play. He goes long stretches about a minute, and then sometimes he'll play 20. And I think he's been impactful every time he's been on the floor. So shout out to O'Shea for just being ready when he's called.
No doubt. Yeah, no.
The sauce.
To speak to your Carlisle point, I mean, it could be a little from column A, a little from column B. I mean, the style of play in the NBA now, and especially the style that the Pacers are playing, is the exact opposite of what Carlisle was playing, when he was coaching the Pacers or the Pistons, like back in the day. Like here, the goal is to outscore your opponent as opposed to limit your opponent from scoring, right? And he understands that the way to do that, at least with this team, is to play super fast. And when you play super fast, mistakes are going to happen. And so maybe that style of play makes him more understanding of rookies making mistakes, throwing the ball out of bounds, because like even veterans would be making mistakes playing at that speed,
Yeah, I still see him pull out guys when they make a mental error. He's still if he sees a teaching moment, he's still making it. But
I mean, yeah, and he in the Portland game, we started out the game down 10-0, and he called a timeout, in 3 minutes, and so he called a timeout and was like, "Look, guys, you guys aren't playing defense, and all you're doing is shooting from the 3-point line. So play defense and drive to the basket." And then all of a sudden, we got back in the game. So it's
they were garbage to start that game, and they really did turn. Yeah, after that timeout, that was, pretty quickly it was a competitive game again. So, they just kept chucking threes, and they weren't falling that game, at least at the beginning. So,
well, and there was no effort to even get into the lane or offer any resistance for a Portland Trailblazer player that was trying to get into the lane. So, yeah. It was a very necessary timeout.
Yeah, for sure. Especially a team without a shot blocker, you should be going at the rack, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Joey, I think we're 7 of our last 9 as a team.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry for your for your hopes and dreams.
I mean, whatever, It's such is life, No, it's like I said last week. I'm past the tanking. It's not going to happen. It doesn't matter now. We've already we're too good for that. Or we played too good for that at least. So, we're past it. So I was kind of joking at the beginning about it's a disappointing winning week of basketball, but I haven't fully transitioned in my mind out of that mode yet. That there's still like those, like there's those games where, if things fall apart at the end or you try some things and they don't work, there's always that upside when you're tanking. You're like, oh well, we lost that game, so we're one step closer to, Wembanyama. But I haven't fully, I had embraced it. I started to live that life where I was, embraced the losing, and I didn't like it, but no, we're good. I'm rooting for winning basketball now, and
well, that Sixers game, right? Like you go, okay, well, this is playoff style basketball in another arena, and we lost in overtime. There's some moral victory in here.
Yeah,
but we're winning so many games. It was kind of like, we should have won that one.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And it's always a little
screw
painful
moral
to lose to
victories.
James Harden under any circumstances.
Yeah. God, and he's such a little bitch.
He cracks me up. I feel like a lot of his game, apart from his elite stopping, he's such a good stopper.
Elite stopper, not defensively. It's not a defensive.
No. Let's
not
be clear.
Not a defensive stopper.
I mean, physically stopping his body. But part of his game is just, as they continuously adjust the rules around fouling. He changes his game to match those rules. So he's got to get those fouls. Got to get those fouls when he's going to the hoop. So there's some of that. Last year maybe they made some pretty drastic changes, and he just wasn't getting the calls at the beginning of the season, and he was like throwing up his arms and he was outraged, and then they're like, it's not a call anymore. So he learned, and now he's back to his old tricks.
Well, new tricks, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess his tricks have evolved.
Old dog.
All right, well, Colson, as you mentioned, the Pacers are now 22-18 at the time of recording. If you'll remember, fans, when we did our preseason preview, the Pacers over-under number was 23.5. So we are we're at game 40. After tomorrow's game, we'll be halfway through the season and potentially already at that number, which is
after we dispatch Charlotte.
Exactly.
Right.
Although the Hornets did just destroy the Bucks with Giannis, but I'm not afraid. We're gonna win that game.
Yeah, that's their win for the month. Got it early.
Yeah, so Pacers play Charlotte in the Fieldhouse Sunday. Then a few days off, and then at the road at the Mecca playing the Knicks on January 11th. Home to Atlanta on Friday the 13th, and then home to Memphis on the 14th, Saturday night. Back to back there, but both in the Fieldhouse.
Tough week.
What are you guys feeling?
Sweep.
Good sweep or bad sweep?
The winning sweep.
Okay. Wow. Harper, what you thinking?
Feeling like a split to me.
I was thinking 2-2. That feels truthy to me, but I'm going to go ahead and say 3-1. This team continues to surprise me.
Yeah, they do.
All right, and are we taking superfan listener Mike's advice, and we can pick anything, or do I need to take?
Yeah, you can pick anything. That wasn't that I could have matched him.
Okay, gotcha.
Harper, but I didn't.
But you didn't want to be right.
3-1 as well.
Yeah, I want to be wrong.
That Knicks game will be super interesting. Like you said, those guys are right next to one another in the standings. Atlanta seems to be a hot mess at this point.
Yeah, but if the playoffs started today, we'd be playing them in the play-in.
That's true.
Implications there for us as well.
No
doubt. Jason, what'd you say? I'm sorry, I missed it.
3-1.
Oh, nice. All right. Nobody's picking 1 and 3. Our confidence is just through the roof.
Charlotte's just a gimme. So,
and I feel like Atlanta probably is too. If it's at our house,
we're not
maybe in Atlanta it might be different, but
we're not losing 3 straight.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Grizz, is that the loss?
That's going to be a tough game.
That's going to be a tough game
Grizzlies
for
are
sure.
very, very
And
good.
the Knicks are not slouches when you go there. They're only 500 at home this year, but playing at the Garden is always going to be tough for a young
Always
team.
tough.
Yeah.
I think Buddy
they'll want
Hield's
that
going to hit like 7 threes in the Garden.
So his average.
Yeah. Exactly.
Alrighty. Well, we'll be back with you on Thursday, and we're going to do a little deep dive, and then you'll hear the results of those games that Jason had just mentioned. You hear about those on the show next Monday. Until then, you can find us all over social media. We're all over the place over there. We're featured there often. We're on Twitter at Undebeatables, on Facebook.com/The Undebeatables. Our website is theundebeatables.com, and there's also a contact form there. You can use that to send us a message. Thanks to everyone who's been doing that. And email, shout out at theundebeatables.com, and on the website /store, you can buy a small t-shirt.
For the architect, Dunny Walsh, and our once and always Hall of Fame coach, Bobby Sickleonard. My heart will go on. Turn out the lights, the party's over.
I was getting concerned when I saw you ramping up to it. That's where
I got all Celine
I was
Dion.
there. I felt it.
I had to do it.
I was in the theater.
I think I heard she's not in a good place right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shout out Celine Dion.
Yeah,
My
I think
heart.
she's got some.
Yeah, she's got some super
problems.
rare disease.
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah.
Well, she's got hella pipes, so that will probably get her through this. That lady can sing.
Yeah. Jason, you ever think about naming your band Hella Pipes?
No, but now that's going on the list.
That was Colson's bagpipe band in high school.
I did go to school in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Hello, pipes.
That didn't work. It wasn't Minnesota. That wasn't the point. It was McAllister. That was the point.
Yeah, it wasn't high
They
school.
don't
it
just
was
play
college.
bagpipes in Minnesota.
I screwed it up for you. Sorry, I fumbled the handoff in the relay there. I'll get it together for the Thursday show.
Yeah, I was thinking. I did not know that there was bagpipes were big.
They're
just
not
in Minnesota as a whole.
We
but
didn't know either until first semester of college when we were hungover at 8 a.m. on a Saturday, and awoken by bagpipes.
Yeah, they were just like wandering around the football field playing bagpipes, practicing.
Wandering?
Yeah, well, and also practicing bagpipes is a different thing than professional bagpipes.
Is it?
There's no way to know.
There's a subtle difference.
Wandering Bagpipes was the name of my band in high school.
We had it though when we lived at the Alameda, Joey. They would do the bagpipe practice outside the Scottish Rite.
Yeah.
And it was,
Yeah.
That
They
they were nice. They did it in the afternoon though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very
That-
kind.
And then also there was one day when I was thoroughly hungover, and then there was it was before like the Circle City Classic. There was like marching bands that were warming up outside my window, which was great.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Warming
so that was
up
another-
outside your window, yeah.
Yeah.
By warming up, I assume that you mean just pounding on drums.
Cymbals.
It was just
banging.
Tubas
marching
just
band,
like
you know,
blowing as hard as they can. Yeah. Shout out Alameda.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out McAllister. Shout out Bagpipes.
Ready for some
All
snorkeling.
Shouts out.
Let's go deep.
Snorkel deep. Oh, instant classic.
I have not seen Avatar except Harper. We watched it at your house, sort of, but I fell asleep.
You fell asleep within like 5 minutes.
I saw a blue blur and then I fell asleep.
Yeah.
Did we ever finish the MacGuffin conversation? Do you want to fight now or later?
MacGuffin.
Remember, so that was actually we were on
MacGuffin
Undebeatacon, and you mentioned that unobtainium was stupid.
Oh God!
For the Avatar, and I said it's not stupid; it's just a MacGuffin. And you said it's not a MacGuffin, and I was like, yeah, it totally is. And then we started to fight.
Yeah, well, it's
a MacGuffin.
It's on tape.
Joey, it's legitimate. MacGuffins, all they are is they're plot devices to drive the plot. That's what.
No, but I mean, they could have just called it something less stupid.
I understand that, but it's still a MacGuffin.
Yeah, the fact that it's a MacGuffin doesn't stop it from being stupid.
I agree with that, but that wasn't the argument. He was saying it wasn't a MacGuffin, and I'm totally right. Okay, and I will go to my deathbed knowing that I'm right.
It's a dumb name.
And I totally agree.
You're
not
go to
wrong.
Your deathbed knowing that I'm right. All right, basketball on go.
sorry. Hard aside.
You're fine.
And no one has seen the new Avatar movie. I haven't either.
No.
All right.
Well, you were like talking about you made it sound like you had gone and.
Is this one also 3 hours?
Yeah,
and
no,
3D?
it's like 3.5 hours in 3D.
James Cameron doesn't make movies that aren't most of your day.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna be seeing this until it comes out on video.
Do they have?
And then I'll watch it in 30-minute installments.
Well, the thing is apparently it's like a really poor plot and bad dialogue. But
not the Avatar sequel.
But it's visually stunning, and you're supposed to watch it on the big thing and on mushrooms, and I'm just saying, let's all do that. We should all be doing that.
Good. Yeah.
Okay.
You're coming up, right, in February.
Yeah, I'll be in February. Yeah.
Bring the mushrooms. And
all right.
Let's make this happen.
All right. Let's do this thing.
Yeah,
It'll still be in the theater by then, probably.
I don't have a 3D TV anymore, so.
Do you have to wear glasses for the 3D TV, or is it just like pop out on the screen no matter what?
It depends on the type of mushrooms. We never did the second sync.
No, Coles. Every time you try and do it, Colson cuts you off.
I totally derailed the whole thing.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Basketball!
Oh! Good save, Coles.
Sorry, I was not ready for that at all. You might have to go back and can we do another go?
That was amazing.
I missed that by a full 2 seconds while I was choking on beer.
Yeah, but we'll pick up the choking on the beat.
Okay.
That's how you'll sink it.
Okay, fair enough.
We can do another one.
No, that's fine. No, I think
you
you're
should
right.
do it.
All right, no.